I survived 100 days as a vampire hunter in Minecraft. During the day, I'm a pretty normal girl. I mean, I go to school and hang out with my friends, but at night, I am a vampire hunter. I am this city's only defense against the bloodsuckers that roam the streets once the sun goes down. Everything was going great until this guy showed up. Dracula, the first vampire that ever walked the earth. When he found out who I was, he took my little sister, and now he has her captured somewhere in the city. If I'm going to save my sister and survive the next 100 days, I was going to need to complete these 3 objectives. 1. Train and level up to a level 5 vampire hunter, the strongest hunter alive. 2. Save my sister from Dracula's secret hideout. And 3. Find and kill Dracula to end the vampire curse. Do I have what it takes to save my sister and defeat Dracula? Or will I end up getting bit and joining the dark side? Stay tuned to find out what happens next. Day 1 as a vampire hunter, and I was just getting back from school. Usually during the week I look after my little sister until my mom and dad come home from work. But today when I got home, the house was empty. I looked around to find my sister. I even called her name. Amy! Amy, are you home? But I got no response. After a few minutes of searching, I went outside to check the pool area, and I found her backpack. She has to be here then. Just as I was about to check out the other side of the house, I noticed this note on the table. I picked it up. Little Kelly, or should I say Little Miss Vampire Hunter. I have taken your sister, but I will not harm a hair on her head if you do exactly what I say. Tonight, meet me at the city graveyard. Come alone and I'll give you your sister back, unharmed as promised. If you try anything funny, she's dead meat. Dracula? Oh no, Dracula has her! This is terrible! But how did he know where I lived? I needed to find her before my parents got home or they were gonna kill me! Ironic, right? I went straight to the underground entrance of 51st and 3rd Street to a little cafe at the tracks. My best friend Sharky worked here. He's the only one who knows who and what I am. I told him about my sister and the note from Dracula. He thinks it's a trap, and so do I. But what other choice do I have? I arrived at the city graveyard alone, like Dracula wanted. I knew this wasn't a good idea, but it was the only way I might be able to save my sister. I waited for a few minutes when this little bat appeared. Wait, a bat? Is that? Oh my gosh, it is! It's Dracula! I've never seen anything like that before. Okay, Dracula, I came alone like you asked. Now where is my sister?
Ha ha ha! You really thought I was going to give you your sister back just like that? You have become a major pain in my rear end, little vampire hunter. Tonight's meeting was set with one thing in mind. To eliminate you!
Dracula came running at me at the speed of light, and just before he could grab me, an arrow hit him. It hurt him. It smells like it was soaked in garlic. Dracula ran away and I'm still alive. Then, a strange man came forward from the distance. He introduced himself as Giles. He was a vampire hunter too, and he wanted to help me get my sister back. On the morning of day 2, I had to convince my mom that I would drop Amy, my sister, to school. But of course I was lying, as Dracula still had her. After they left, I got my phone and I rang Sharky. I told him what had happened last night, and as I was getting to the part about the vampire hunter, there he was! In my kitchen! What is going on? Sorry, Sharky, I'ma call you back. I asked him what he was doing here and how he knew where I lived. He told me he found me on a tagged location on Snapchat. Not very smart for the city's only vampire hunter. I guess that's how Dracula found me too. Anyway, this guy Giles told me he would train me to become the deadliest vampire hunter that ever lived. The only catch? I had to go with him right now. I grabbed some paper and wrote a note to my parents. Hey guys, I took Amy's on a girls' week away with some friends. She needs it right now and we need some space, so don't call me. I'll be home on Sunday evening, ready for school next week. Love you guys, kiss. Let's go, Giles. I don't have much time. It took the guts of 2 days driving through the mountains to get to Giles' hideout. But eventually we arrived at this place. It looks like some kind of nuclear survival bunkers. This is insane. We went inside and Giles showed me around. I couldn't help but notice all the cameras around and I started to feel a bit uneasy. Eventually we got upstairs inside a long hallway with rooms on each side. Giles told me to come in and when I looked down, vampires? What is going on here, Giles? He told me that this is where he brings the vampires to do tests on them, as well to practice his combat skills. He He believes the more he has in here, the less damage on the city, and I agree. What do all these buttons do? Whoops, wait, did that just blow up some of the vampires? I was unsure, so I pressed it again. Oh my gosh, it does! It must keep them settled down there. Weird, but who am I to judge? Then we went up another floor. This was the training room. This is where he would sharpen his skills to level up and take on some of his trapped vampires downstairs. Wait, is that a cat bed? He has a cat. He didn't strike me as the cat type. Then, just past the treadmills, this is where I could sleep. He also said I could stay here if I ever felt like I was in danger. Nothing could get into this bunker. On night 6, Giles brought me to this construction site inside the city. He told me that vampires sometimes hang out here looking for their next meal. We split up and I went in the front door while Giles took the back. As soon as I went inside, I could see some vampires hanging around the back. Time to kick some butt. I took out my throwing axe and launched it in their direction. Direct hit! I fought these guys off with ease, eventually taking each and every one of them out. I climbed my way up to the very top of the tower, and what do you know? More vamps up here. I fought them all one by one until there was none left. I searched the area for more, and that's when I found this guy. Looks like the vampire's newest recruit didn't want to fight me. Could you blame him? I asked him for information about Dracula. Does he know where he's hiding and stuff like that? But he knew nothing. Sorry, vamps. Leave no vamps alive. That's my motto. I was just leaving when Giles showed up. A little too late if you ask me. He told me he wanted to see what skill level I was at, and he was pleasantly surprised. He handed me this and told me to drink it. Holy water? Okay, sir. I drank up and man, did I feel great. I think I'm getting stronger. That's when I realized I was now a level 2 vampire hunter. Oh yeah! Over the next week, Giles sent me on missions, clearing out known vampire hangout houses around the city. I can't believe these places even exist. I had no idea, and I've lived here my whole entire life. It's crazy. After I cleared out each place, I looked around for clues as to where Dracula's hideout could be. But each time I came up empty, so I continued clearing out the hangout houses all around the city. They even have fancy pool top ones like this one. Come on! I was finishing off the last vampire when he dropped this. Looks like a list of unknown coordinates. Wait, this could be the location to Dracula's hideouts, or even locations to where he's been keeping my sister. I need to regroup with Giles and show him what I found. On day 8, I had to go back home and face my parents. I didn't find Amy and she's still missing. They need to know. I went inside but nobody was home. That's weird. I went into my mom and dad's bedroom and there was a random TV on a stand. That was never there before. I turned it on and boom.
Hello again, little vampire hunter. I see you have been busy around my city causing slight disruptions, if you will. I thought I would send you this video as proof of life as your little sister and to keep you motivated and staying in my good books. Leave my soldiers alone, and once this is all over, I will return your sister. Unharmed.
What does he mean? When all this is over? When what is all over? Just then, I heard the front door. It must be my parents. I have to get rid of the TV, so I threw it over the balcony. I'm coming, sis. Don't you worry. Over the next few days, I skipped school, and I went to all the locations in that book I found in one of the vampires' hangout houses. Each place was busier than the last and packed with humans. Was Dracula's hideouts hidden in plain sight? Or was this book full of locations where you can literally find hundreds of vampire Happy Meals? When I arrived at the park, that's when it all started to make sense. These coordinates are literally locations where vampires can come at night, blend in, and eventually pick out their next snack. These guys are planning something, and I needed to find out what. On night 18, I finally hit the jackpot with these coordinates. This place looks like it's crawling with vamps. I wasn't going to be able to do this on my own, so I called Giles. Looks like I'm doing this one solo. I snuck up to the front door and I let myself in. I made my way through the containers, making sure I didn't get caught. Looks like this is some kind of warehouse, but for what? Maybe my sister's in here. I managed to get up to the top balcony without getting spotted, and that's when I saw it. It looks like the vampires have some humans trapped in cages here. This must be where they have my sister. I was nearly at the end of the warehouse when I spotted him. That's Dracula! My sister must be here. My heart started to race. I might be able to save her if I could just find her. As I kept looking, I could feel my heart beat out of my chest.
Wait, I can hear a heartbeat. The vampire killer is here. Find her and bring her to me, alive.
Oh no, they've spotted me. I am so doomed. I jumped over the balcony and got out through the door before they could catch me. I'm sorry, Amy, if you were in there. I'm so sorry. On day 19, I made it back to Giles' secure bunker. I was so angry at him for not answering his phone that I wanted some answers from him. Like why he never comes with me on the vampire hunts. After my little freak out, he asked me to take a seat. He explained to me that he's been hunting Dracula for many years now, but he once did nearly kill him. They fought in Transylvania many centuries ago. But how could it be centuries? I mean, that would mean he was a couple of 100 years old. Wait, Giles, he's a vampire? Oh my gosh! He told me after he fought Dracula, he noticed he'd been bitten. He managed to stop the change with his potions and keep his soul. But now he has powers just like them. He can't even go out in the sunlight. That explains why he wasn't out on the hunts with me. Wow, that's crazy! Over the next couple of weeks, myself and Giles began the hunt for Dracula's right-hand man, Damien. He could help us find Dracula's main hideout and maybe even find my sister Amy. We tracked down Dracula's main henchmen one by one, making them tell us whatever information they had and then killing them. By day 30, we had a pretty good idea where Damien was camping out, just outside the city. Myself and Giles hiked to the hills beside the cable car drop-off point, known for teenagers to come up here and make out. Gross. Giles decided to brake to the right just in case Damien gets spooked and tries to make a run for it. I waited and waited until eventually, there he was, Damien. I wanted him to get a little closer and then I jumped out. He spotted me and took off into the forest. Darn it, I need to catch him. I stayed hot on his tail. He was not getting away from me without a fight. Oh my gosh, these stairs are killing me. Come on, little Kelly, you gotta save Amy. By the time I reached the top, he was gone. All that hard work for nothing. Where was Giles, for goodness sake? I went to head back down and bang! I got punched so hard. Damien, looks like he came back for that fight after all. Silly mistake. We went at it, punch for punch and kick for kick. I could tell this guy wasn't like all the other vampires I fought. He was stronger and much faster. But eventually, I got him with a slice from my dagger. Oh, did I forget to mention it was a garlic-soaked dagger? He's hurt, and now's my time. Where is Dracula's hideout? Tell me, and I'll make your death quick. He just laughed at me. Tell me where he has my sister. But still nothing. Death doesn't faze him. He's already been dead for thousands of years. I finished him off and headed back down for the steps to find Giles. On day 41, I was leaving school after a hectic day of trying to catch up on all the classwork I've missed the last few weeks. I was just outside the main door when I looked left. Wait, what? Dracula in the sunlight? My eyes have to be playing tricks on me. I ran around the corner, but he was gone. I looked over the little wall. Wait, was that him running into the maze by the outdoor stage? I jumped down. Ouch, that totally hurt. And then I made my way up into the maze. What was I thinking? I was unarmed and the sun is up. It couldn't be him. I eventually made it to the center and there he stood. Dracula in the sunlight at my school? But how?
Good day, little vampire hunter. I bet you are just as confused as your pretty little face looks. Yes, I am really here, in the flesh, during the daytime. You see, I have been planning this all my life, and now it has finally come into action. I wanted to meet you here and give you one last opportunity to save your sister's life. Come with me now and I will release her. You cannot stop me. Not now. Not when I can walk around freely just like you.
While he was talking, I realized I could smell something familiar, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. Until now. Sunscreen? Is he wearing sunscreen? I reached inside my bag and grabbed my bottle of water. I opened up the lid and I threw it at him. He panicked as he thought it was holy water. But then when it didn't burn him, he just laughed. So I threw more and more at him. Then I punched him right off the platform into the sunlight. And just as I suspected, Sunscreen! He started screaming and he turned into a little bat and flew away. Nice try, Dracula. Nice try. On day 42, I met Giles outside the city at the Water Purification Center. He told me that we are seriously getting to Dracula and he's getting desperate. Desperate enough to attack the city's water supply and change the water into blood. Ew, gross. We ran right into the middle of it. Time to kick some more vampire butt. It was amazing to watch Giles in action. This guy was a pro at killing vampires. I hope I'm as good as him one day. We were just finishing up the last few when Dracula came out of nowhere. Here we go. Myself and Giles versus Dracula. I fancy our chances. Bring it on. I was about to attack when Dracula took this thing out. What is it? Giles turned to me. Run! Run for your life! What? Why? What is that thing? Before I could do anything, Dracula hit Giles with some kind of energy source and then a lightning bolt. What is going on? Once it all calmed down, I saw Giles standing there, but he looks different. Wait, his eyes, they're red! Oh no, Dracula took his soul, and now Giles is a proper vampire! Ah! I ran for my life, but Giles was hot on my tail. What was I gonna do? He'd kill me for sure. Wait, his bunker, that's it! I need to get him inside his bunker. I made it back to the bunker, just about. I ran up the stairs and into the main hallway. I grabbed the pressure plate out of my inventory and placed it in front of the vents down to the trapped vampires. I need Giles to step on it and then fall through. It's my only chance. There he is, staring right at me. Come closer. Come on. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. No! Where did he go? Oh man, this is not good. I snuck around the corner looking for him, but he's just vanished. I went to turn around and leave and there he is. I ran for it and he was right behind me. I ran towards the vent and I jumped over the pressure plate. Giles was right behind me! Yes! It worked! He fell into the vampire pit. Now, Giles, you'll be safe down there until I can figure out a way to get you your soul back. I stayed in the bunker for the next couple of days. Don't worry, I called home to tell my parents I was at band camp sleepover. Man, I hate lying to those guys. Day 51. I was wandering around the bunker thinking of ways I could help Giles get his soul back from Dracula when I stumbled across this hangar. I couldn't believe what was inside. He had a plane? This thing is so cool! He also had an awesome motorbike out here too. Who would have guessed Giles was a cool guy? When I got to the back, I saw this chair and all this weird looking equipment. I think that's a blood grinder and that thing is a garlic diffuser. This must be how he kept his urge to drink human blood under control. Wow, Giles is hardcore. I found this chest in the back and oh yeah, I found the weapon jackpot. His pitchfork, stakes, holy water, and his sword. Not to mention his hunter armor. I think it's time I level up and prepare to take on Dracula, alone. I found this bottle of hunter potion and I decided to drink it. Down the hatch! Wow, I feel amazing and I just leveled up to a level 3 vampire hunter. I put on the hunter armor and I grabbed the weapons out of the chest. I took some holy water too for good measure. I jumped in his plane. It seemed fueled already. Now all I have to do is turn the key and woohoo! Here we go! We did it! Look guys, we're flying! This is gonna be epic for getting around the city. On days 52 to 64, I continued to follow up leads on vampire hangout houses. But on day 65, I found this farm address in one of Giles's diaries. By the looks of it, it must have been another safe house that Giles had just in case his bunker was ever found. I let myself in and had a look around, but there wasn't much else in here for me, apart from these donuts, but even they were stale. I went outside the front and I noticed the main farmhouse door was open. I wonder if someone still lives here. I was just about to go inside when a loud shotgun blast from behind me nearly gave me a heart attack. I turned around and it looked like some kind of farmer. He asked me who I was and I explained I was a friend of Giles. That and I too am a vampire hunter, but Giles is in trouble. The farmer invited me inside to the kitchen. He told me all about Giles and when they first met. He's always been here for him. He knew this day would come and he had something for me. The farmer left the kitchen and eventually he came back with this. It was a hunter's axe, like no other. This axe was made of blood-infused iron ingots, the only known metal to be able to kill Dracula. He also gave me this book. He told me to burn it when the time was right. He said I'd know. I thanked the farmer and I left the farm, back towards the plain to continue my mission. Kill Dracula and save my sister before my extremely gullible parents realized she was missing. On day 66 to 70, I stalked some of the most notorious vampires that have lived in the city for many years. They live in the shadows and prey on the vulnerable. Not today, buddy! I stopped this vampire before he could have his midnight snack. I wanted answers on where Dracula could be hiding, but not even these guys were willing to talk. They were all willing to die for him. I was beginning to think no one would talk to me until I found this guy. His name was Theo, and he was a newly turned vampire. He still was getting used to his fangs and his need for blood. I jumped down before he had a chance to attack those two guys, and he took off running. I wish sometimes they just stood still. I took off after him. This guy was fast. He jumped over the barrier and made a leap down to the train tracks. I know where this leads. I had to cut him off on the other side. I cut through the forest, and by the time I reached the train tracks, there he was. Yeah! Take that, Theo! He seemed confused. He was shocked I knew his name. I tried a different approach this time. I told him that I'm a hunter, but I work for Dracula on the inside. I told him I had the whereabouts of a group of hunters that had arrived into the city, and that I needed him to bring me to the main vampire hangout house so I could talk to the guys in charge. He agreed. Idiot. Theo brought me here, to this warehouse beside the Docklands. Of course this is a vampire hideout. We walked all the way in, and there he was, the main man himself, Dracula. He ran once he noticed me. Sorry, Theo, but you gotta go. I killed him, and then the most epic vampire hunter battle ever broke out. I must have been battling thousands of them. Okay, fine, maybe like 20 of them, but they were fast and strong. Too bad they weren't fast or strong enough. After I finished them all off and sent them to their ashy resting place, I ran after Dracula. But it was too late. He'd already made his getaway on his little speedboat. Wait, why would Dracula need a speedboat if he could fly? And why was he using a speedboat unless his hideout is out at sea? I need to get back to my plane. The next 17 days, I searched all the major rivers that ran near the warehouse I last saw Dracula to check for any bunkers or hideouts hidden in the trees. I even flew past the oil tankers just off the beach to see if I could spot anything strange. But so far, everything seemed normal. Where could he have gone? But finally, on day 88, I found it. I found this container ship out at sea in the middle of the night, but with no cruising lights, no sign of life, nothing. I knew this had to be where Dracula went. I got my plane high enough in the sky, and then I jumped out. But don't worry, I have a jetpack. I used my jetpack to slow down my descent, and eventually I landed right onto the containers on the ship. I knew I was onto something. I jumped down to the main deck, and as I started to look around, vampires attacked me. These guys were literally coming out of nowhere, but they were no match for me. I got changed into my hunter armor, and I made my way through the boat, taking out these pesky vampires one by one. If Dracula was here, I was gonna get him too. After I took out the vamps on the main deck, I moved up to the second floor. That's when I spotted Dracula making a run for it. Not again. I ran straight after him, jumping from the main platform onto the containers. He was so quick, there was no way I was going to keep up with him. And just as I reached the last container, he took off in a little black helicopter. What is going on? Why is he running away? And why isn't he turning into a bat anymore? This makes no sense. I was getting ready to leave the ship when I heard what sounded like a human's voice. It was coming from inside the containers. I jumped down and opened the first one beside me, and to my shock, there were people inside. The container is full of newly trained vampire hunters, including Sharky? Wait, what?
Little Kelly, you did it! You saved us! Ha! Told you guys! You all owe me 10 bucks. Anyway, Dracula is planning a sacred ritual where he turns 100 vampire hunters into vampires. Then he plans on taking our souls and turning our bodies into dust. He'll then use that dust from our bodies to cast a shadow over the sunlight, and it will send the world into eternal darkness. I'm only here because I used your idea at the supermarket, and guess what? The checkout guy thought I was you. Anyway, you have him on the run, and he's super weak. He hasn't been able to feed properly because he's constantly running from you, so his powers are pretty much non-existent. You need to get after him. I planted a GPS tracker on his heli. Go, little Kelly. I'll get everyone out of here.
I couldn't believe it. Sharky just saved the day. Like always. He's such a hunk. I mean, a real dreamboat. One that the gut... Sharky! Stop typing the lines into the teleprompter. Jeez. Before I left, I realized I'd leveled up. I'm now a level 4 vampire hunter. I spent the next 10 days flying until my plane couldn't take it anymore, and I crash landed right in this field beside the only house I've found for hundreds of miles. And would you look at that? The same helicopter Dracula got away in. This has to be it. He's inside, which means my sister is inside. I snuck up closer to the house, and I found what looks like an entrance to the underground car park. Because by the looks of it, Dracula needs more cars. I made my way down the walkway and eventually got inside. There he is, and there's my sister. Amy, it's okay. I'm here to save you, okay? Don't worry.
Well, I must say, little vampire hunter, you have outdone yourself this time. I see I may have underestimated you from the very beginning, but this time, I will not make the same mistake again.
Dracula ran down the set of stairs, leaving my sister unguarded. I ran straight to her and I broke her free. Run, Amy. I need you to run and hide in one of those cars outside the front of the house. If I don't come back for you in the next 10 minutes, go. Drive out of here and use the sat-nav to get you home. I love you and I'm sorry that it took me this long to find you. I ran down after Dracula, but he was gone. Wait, it looks like there's something down there. I jumped down inside. Looks like some kind of ritual room. Ugh, then I noticed it. A huge cave under the house, and it was full to the brim with vampires. It was time to break out the big guns. My upgraded minigun with garlic-soaked bullets. Say hello to my little friend! I took them out, wave after wave. They couldn't do anything to stop me. Woohoo! After all Dracula's minions were dead, I remembered the book the farmer gave me. I took it out along with my alchemist fire kit. I started the fire, then threw the book into the flames. Bring it on, Dracula! We both charged at one another, ready for possibly one of our last battles. The winner of this one will decide the fate of all humanity. We battled and fought for a few minutes, but eventually, Dracula bit me! Oh no! How is that even possible? I could feel his venom soaring through my blood. No, it can't be! But wait, I have the axe! The only axe that can defeat Dracula. I waited until he got close enough to strike. Closer, closer. Ah! I did it! I killed Dracula! Oh man, I think I'm gonna pass out. I woke up on day 100 in my mom and dad's bed. What happened? My sister came running in. She was so happy that I was awake. She told me she came back for me and found me passed out in that cave. She managed to drag me out and into a car. Wow, I was so proud of her. She told me I had a friend downstairs waiting for me. I went downstairs and there he was. Giles! You made it! Turns out after I killed Dracula, his soul returned to his body, and now he's free. He thanked me for all my help, and I thanked him for believing in me. That's when I noticed I was a level 15 hunter, the strongest hunter to have ever lived. Giles left before my parents got home. Dracula might be dead, but my work as a vampire hunter was far from over.